Guys, I bought more Hoyas. Hello again, plant friends, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah, and I have a little bit of a confession to make. I think I might be addicted to Hoyas. If you are new here, welcome. Take a minute, hit that subscribe button, hit the thumbs up, and get ready because I have some Hoyas for you. So I'm sitting here, I am surrounded by, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 new Hoyas that I've gotten in the past week. So yeah, it's safe to say I might be a little bit addicted. So one of these I did order online. The rest I actually got from a private collector that lives kind of near here. She supplied me with a ton of these. So I'll try to share whether I got them from her or which one I did get online. But just know that a lot of these are actually coming from a private collection. And I have a feeling she's going to supply me with a few more in the near future. She's got a couple other varieties that I'm just itching to get my hands on. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the Hoyas. I will go ahead and let you know what the name of each Hoya is and a little bit about it. When applicable, I might throw a picture of the flowers up here on screen, but some of them are kind of similar to other Hoya flowers, so I'll only do that if they are really a selling feature of this particular Hoya. All right, now which one should I start with? I think I'm going to start with my personal favorite out of these for no other reason than I just really like the name of it, and that is the Hoya Chicken Farm. So you can see here it's got these beautiful big leaves and it's got kind of this nice speckling going on here. So I really do enjoy the leaves here. I think they're really beautiful, and a big full plant also looks gorgeous, but I think it's the name that just cracks me up. I think it's so funny. So this is a rooted cutting of Hoya Chicken Farm. I do have it in LECA. I went ahead and converted it since it was newly rooted. I thought I would give it a try in the LECA. Most of my Hoyas actually really enjoy being in the LECA. And the flowers on this particular one are a beautiful kind of orange and yellow, which is really kind of uncommon for Hoyas. There's a lot of white, a lot of pink, even I've seen a lot of like purples and deep burgundy colors, but you don't see a whole lot of those oranges and yellows. So I'm excited to try to get this to bloom. As far as rarity on this one goes, I do think it is a little bit on the more scarce side. I don't think there's a ton of demand like some of the really rare Hoyas, but it is one that you kind of have to know somebody. Every once in a while you'll see it come up listed on maybe Etsy or something, but really I think a lot of the cuttings just trade hands between collectors. So that is the very first Hoya, the one that I am most excited about, my Hoya Chicken Farm. So I think we will just go right next to that. So this one, there's a little bit of name discrepancy. It used to be known as a pubicalyx. It is not anymore, so there's a little bit. You still will find it sold under pubicalyx, but it is technically a pubicorrolla, and that is the Pubicorrolla Black Dragon. So you can see the leaves are very, very similar to the pubicalyx, just maybe a little bit more thin, and they're not so speckly. So you will see this one sometimes sold under the name Pubicalyx Black Dragon, but it is Pubicorrolla Black Dragon. And the flowers on this one are gorgeous. They are a deep, deep burgundy. Some of them have kind of a little bit of like a softer purple going around the inside. So it is a really beautiful flower, and I think it is raised mostly for its flowers. As far as scarcity goes on this one, you'll see it come up quite often. You sometimes see it, like I said, under the name Pubicalyx Black Dragon, but it's not one that's terribly difficult to get your hands on. You'll see it come up on Etsy or in groups quite often. I think it's a fairly easy one to grow, so I'm excited. Again, I'm really excited to see those flowers. And this one I do still have in its original potting medium. It seems like it's really happy here. I was in no rush to convert it since it had been growing in this pot for a while. So I will leave it here. If I feel like it needs to be switched, I will go ahead and switch it over to the LECA. But for the time being, it's going to stay in its bark. So this one is another one that I picked up from the private collector, the Hoya Pubicorrolla Black Dragon, sometimes called Pubicalyx Black Dragon, but technically Pubicorrolla. All right, so I'm going to move on from one that is really well known for its flowers to one that has just the most gorgeous foliage, and this one is the Hoya Fitchii. Fitchii, I don't know quite how you say it, but the leaves on this one are just gorgeous. So this one was an unrooted cutting, and I actually had to go ahead and take off a couple of leaves to get it to stick and stay in the leca. So there is a little bit of stem. I don't know if you can see that. Hopefully you can. There is a little bit of stem on there, so I thought, well, I have to take these leaves off anyway. I may as well stick them in the leca and see if I can get some roots growing on those as well, so that I can have kind of a more full plant. So the Fitchii is a really, really easy grower from what I've been able to find online. Not one that's terribly uncommon, maybe not as common as some other Hoyas, but one that, since it is an easy grower, you probably won't have any trouble getting your hands on a cutting of this one if you're interested. The flowers on this one can actually range from kind of a yellow or an orange to a soft pink. And I think it varies plant to plant from what I could find online. Some people are actually selling them as this is a Fitchii that has pink flowers or yellow flowers. I don't know what this one has, so I will either have to get in touch with the collector and see if hers has bloomed or wait for this one to bloom. But I do think the Fitchii is one that is definitely grown for its foliage. If you can see, it turns a little bit purpley in the sun, which are some of my favorite Hoyas. They get that just beautiful coloring. So I will root this one up, and since I'm rooting it in leca, I will probably go ahead and just make a conversion over to semi-hydro. And I'm really excited about this one, Hoya Fitchii. All right, do I want to go with rarity or controversy next? I think I'm gonna go with controversy next and save the rare one for last. All right, so this one is the Hoya Villosa is what it was sold to me as, and you can see it's got just these gorgeous, gorgeous leaves on it. They have kind of the most interesting shape to them. And the controversy that I could find is in the naming and the identification of this. So you may also see a very, very similar plant called the globulosa, I think. And the two plants seem very, very similar from what I could find online. Some collectors tend to think that the Villosa and the globulosa are related, but not the same plant. And some people think that they are the same plant and it's just kind of variations in growing. So the information that I could find on the difference between a Villosa and a globulosa is that the Villosa has kind of ridges, kind of ruffles along the edge, which you can kind of see on this particular leaf that it does. Hopefully you can see that it's got a little bit kind of waviness to it. So that would define the Villosa, and then the globulosa would actually have more smooth or rounded leaves. So I'm gonna let this grow and kind of keep an eye on some of the websites, some of the chats, and see if we can actually come to a determination. But it was sold to me as a Villosa, and so that is what it's going to remain labeled as for now. Again, I think this is one that is very much grown for the foliage. The flowers are that kind of very common white with the pink center to them. So like I said, with this one, I'm gonna go ahead and let it grow. It is, again, in leca. I went ahead and converted it just because this one I had heard was a little bit of a slower grower. We will see, and I might actually be able to tell because of the growing conditions. Some people say that the Villosa likes cooler conditions and the globulosa likes a little bit warmer conditions. So we will just see. We're gonna let this grow. We're gonna figure it out. But for now, Hoya Villosa. So far everything has been from a private collector who I went and got cuttings from. This one actually was ordered from a website and it just arrived today. So it is in a red solo cup. There's a little bit of water in the bottom. So it's kind of mixing, there was some soil on the roots. So it's mixing that soil with the water just to kind of get it refreshed. It was in the mail for the better part of a week. So with a Hoya, I probably won't leave this in the water for very long, just a day or two, just to kind of get it back. The leaves were a little bit limp. They're starting to plump up a little bit already. So I'll just keep an eye on that. This is really just kind of recovery mode. So I'll pull it out a little bit as best I can without damaging it or dripping on myself. This one, sorry if I'm looking down, I'm looking at my notes. This one is the Hoya Dennisii. So you can see some of these leaves pretty basic leaves, and sorry if they are dirty. Like I said, it just came in the mail today, so I'm filming this pretty much an hour or two after this arrived. Now, the Hoya Dennisii is not one that is particularly grown for its foliage. You can tell it's nothing special. It's nothing to write home about. It looks like about 2 or 3 other Hoyas that I have in here. But the Hoya Dennisii has the most beautiful flowers, and I will try to find a picture that I can use and put it up here. They are the most gorgeous shade of pink, and they are almost an inch across. So just the most huge, gorgeous flowers. I don't know a whole lot about how easy it is to get to bloom. This seems like it's a very, very decent cutting for the price that I paid. It's well rooted, so I'm hoping this one won't take a terribly long time to bloom. So there you have, in its beautiful red solo cup, the Hoya Dennisii. And if it's still available, I will link below to where you can find this particular Hoya. All right, so I've saved the rarest for last, and I think it's rare only because it's kind of known to be a slow grower. So there probably just aren't a whole lot of cuttings out there, but it is beautiful. And I've put it in semi-hydro, so I will let you know if the semi-hydro helps it grow. But this one I am super excited about. I'm just ecstatic to have my hands on it. It is the Hoya Rangsan. I don't always know how to pronounce the Hoyas, guys. I'm sorry. So hopefully you can see just the most beautiful little leaf here. And they do get much bigger than this. They look like this, but they can get a whole lot bigger. So this is just a little baby leaf. Again, sold to me as a rooted cutting, so I went ahead and put it just straight in the semi-hydro. Again, partially to see, I do find that my Hoyas that are in the semi-hydro grow just a little bit faster, and I don't know if that's based on which particular varieties I have in semi-hydro, but I thought I would give it a try with this one. And I do feel pretty safe since I know this collector. If something happens to go wrong with it, hopefully I could get another cutting from her. But I think if any indication from the rest of my Hoyas that are in semi-hydro, I think this one will be perfectly fine. So again, a Hoya that's a little bit more on the uncommon side. Again, I think more so because it's such a slow grower and it's not like some of these other varieties that you can take. My Bella, for instance, I can take a cutting from pretty much every other week and start a new propagation. With this, I think I'm going to have to wait a little bit longer, but hopefully I can get it to grow into a big, glorious plant. The flowers on these are just a lovely soft pink, but I think it's going to be a while before I see any blooms. Everything that I read on the internet that I could even find said slow grower. It's going to just take a while. Be patient with it. It may not be your favorite Hoya if you're looking for growth and for flowers right away, but definitely one that I am so ecstatic to have in my collection, and I am excited to watch grow. So there you have it, guys. That kind of sums up my 6 new Hoyas that I have. I will definitely keep you up to date on any new growth, if any of them flower, anything like that. I am just super excited that I've added so many different Hoyas to my collection over the last couple of weeks here. Let me know down in the comments below which of these Hoyas is your favorite, which one would you most want to get your hands on. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week with another video. Bye.